Friends, welcome back to the Brave New Wear Show. My name's Christian. Looking at the Fall-Winter 2013 collections for men, I saw a prevailing theme. A trend, if you will. Acne Studios, Loewe, and J.W. Anderson, Dior Homme, Rick Owens, Saint Laurent, Alexander McQueen, ellipsis, ... Well, you probably know where I'm going because you read the title.
Yes, ma'am.
I am here to do some good old-fashioned slut shaming.
Several looks from a lot of the collections are, for lack of a better word, risque, provocative, sexualized. Despite the fact that these are collections for the two coldest seasons of the year, they are featuring a lot of looks that are showing more skin. Let me say this, there are a lot of caveats to what I am saying. To begin with, J.W. Anderson and his work for Loewe has leaned more towards these skin showing looks prior to the 2023 collections. Rick Owens' collection, frankly, was restrained for him because he didn't feature a male model with his wiener hanging out for everyone to see.
Prancing around in your underwear with your wiener hanging out for everyone to see?
Also, the other caveat, Daniel Lee was employing a lot of these kind of skin-showing looks during his time at Bottega Veneta. Just look at my last video, for example. And I've argued a lot that Daniel Lee's kind of design sense has been very influential in what we're seeing in fashion right now. So either way, a lot of designers are adopting this trend. It's a trend where we're seeing tops, sometimes bottoms, essentially men's looks that are showing a lot more skin than was typically expected or normal. Maybe the designers think that this kind of aesthetic is what's next. Maybe the buyers are more interested in this kind of thing. One hypothetical, when I was thinking about kind of what's going on, why is it getting so slutty in men's fashion, was to think about kind of the metaphor of skirt lengths. In fashion, there is almost always an ebb and flow of what styles are in and out. If maxi skirts are really popular, designers will, design into that, make more and more maxi skirts until we reach something of a saturation point, and then the pendulum flips all the way to the other side, and we see designers designing a lot of mini skirts until the pendulum kind of swings back to maxi. That has happened for decades. It's a prevailing trend that you can expect like clockwork. Often this is just the result of one style becoming less novel and then the complete opposite looking really cool just because we haven't seen it in a while. But I don't think that's exactly what's happening here because it's not like men's looks have had that same opportunity to be yo-yo-y in that way. I don't think it's really a matter of designers wanting to make sluttier looks. What I think is really behind this trend is men or, male presenting people are choosing to dress in more feminine ways. And designers are choosing to design more looks that are feminine. I think these looks are, frankly, more feminine. I think that women have clearly been wearing looks that are revealing more of their skin and or in materials that are more revealing, like sheer materials. Look at this look from Alexander McQueen. It is essentially the bodice of a dress where the model in this picture has exposed arms and shoulders and exposure of like the top part of his chest. And that is something that is perfectly commonplace in dresses. That's perfectly commonplace for like women's tops as well. But seeing it in this application, it's very different for men and it reads as very feminine in this men's look. I think this one look piece from Loewe is my favorite of the season. I think it's the one piece that I've been most interested by. It has details of an overcoat. It has the, lapel collar. It appears to be made from a material like a cashmere wool blend that is commonplace for an overcoat. It does look unstructured, but there is no closure. So there's no fastening of to be a jacket. And instead, the opening kind of ends, and the bottom, where you would expect like buttons, where you'd expect it to be open down the middle, is closed. It's in essence like the top is kind of like an overcoat, the bottom is like a skirt, and the overall piece is essentially a dress. And that's even more telling by the fact that the model is wearing it without any kind of shirt underneath. And I just think this is super cool. I think it's fascinating. I think it's like, if I could get one thing, I would get this. What I think is so interesting about this, it successfully kind of deploys a feminine look, a dress look in fashion. I think that there is a distinction between, say, we have tastemakers and other people who have worn dresses in sense to be provocative. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's dope. But I think there is a clear distinction between, you know, wearing a dress or designing a dress for a man to be kind of radical, to be provocative, and there's value in that. But I think there's a clear distinction between that and then actually finding the kind of intersection between a designer's own aesthetic and style and the trend of fashion, and actually employing what is essentially a dress, but making it have all these touch points where it makes sense in this men's collection, where it feels like it is a natural evolution of the pieces that Loewe has been sharing. Rick Owens, when he would start to have those silhouettes that were longer and longer, when he started to employ those skirt looks into his collection, that was like the first time where I looked at something that was clearly feminine and I thought, this is dope. Because it was a kind of a natural evolution of the aesthetics and the design language that Rick was exploring. It was a natural evolution of the trends of that kind of look at the time. It was finding the path where men's looks could actually adopt feminine looks without it being contrived, with it actually being desirable and cool. And I think the fact that what I think is happening is kind of more feminine qualities being added into men's fashion, I think that is deeply fascinating. I have a pet fascination, I guess, with the fact that women have, through the decades, adopted men's looks, but it has never happened really the other way around. There isn't the same kind of sharing across the gender spectrum. But the abridged answer as to why is, frankly, because Western culture values masculinity and it devalues femininity. And, you know, it's okay for women to slowly adopt men's styles because it's aspirational.
Good job.
But if a man does the same thing,
You know, Greg's in medicine too, Larry.
Oh, really? What field?
there's something wrong with him.
Nursing.
That's good. No, really.
So what's like the kind of so what about this? Why is men's fashion becoming more feminine? Why are young people and designers leaning more towards these like clearly more feminine looks? I would say it's like the monologue from Trainspotting. People are changing. And I think a lot of people, or at least culture on the whole, is starting to recognize that gender in the roles that it plays is as flexible as we want it to be. I think there is still an underlying challenge in this sea change. And I think it's addressing the bias for masculinity or masculine looks and the prejudice maybe of feminine and femininity and feminine looks. So let me know what you guys think. Is there kind of a quality, I don't know, a thingy that is actually what is pushing this kind of femininity trend forward that I didn't pick up on? Do you think that it's offensive or cringe of me to call it sluttier fashion just because they're showing more skin? You know, the comment section down below is where you're supposed to put that thought. Before I go, I want you to know that I have exciting news for everybody who it doesn't feel like they get enough of me rambling on a regular basis. That's right, there is more content on the way, and it is called The Bias Cut. A new podcast that I am hosting with fellow fashion YouTuber Kilian of Low Luxury. Cotton will become a luxury textile. It will become the type of thing that because it is just so expensive on like a ecological
It's absurd.
scale.
Yeah.
That I think that cotton is going to become more and more luxury. And if you want to wear a cotton t-shirt, it's going to be a fancy thing that you own and you paid more money for it. I will link it down below. We had episode 0, but what our plan is with this podcast is to do it live every Thursday. The description will have all the info. And next Thursday, you're watching this on a Sunday, I assume. But check us out on Thursday because we're going to live stream it from the channel linked. And I'm desperate and I hope to see you guys there. And I will catch you in the next video.